real estate agents. There's this one YouTube strategy that's changing the game for real estate YouTube forever. And this strategy is so effective. Now, when I use it with my own clients, they said we have to double down on this because all my clients are reaching out to me telling me how much I love this video. And I've done this before in multiple different markets, so it's not just one or two clients. So what exactly is this strategy? Today, I'm going to show you what exactly this strategy is, why it actually works so well, how to do it yourself step by step by step, and finally, why I think this is the future of real estate YouTube. So my name is Dylan Liu. I'm a YouTube strategist with over 100 million views. I worked in all sorts of different niches, from politics to gaming to business to finance to self-improvement. And these days, I specialize in helping real estate agents because I think most real estate agents are pretty bad at YouTube. So what the strategy actually is, it's a long-form video podcast. There's these popular video podcasts that are exploding all over YouTube, such as The Diary of a CEO or Chris Williamson. And in general, there's just so many different long-form video podcasts that are just popping up all over YouTube. And the reason why this is working so well is because the #1 platform that's growing on YouTube isn't actually phones, isn't actually computers, it's actually TV views. And if you look at the avatar of someone that watches YouTube on TV, they actually tend to select longer YouTube videos. And so instead of watching like a 5-minute video, they're more likely to choose a video that's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 40 minutes. And not just that, whenever someone is watching YouTube on a TV, they tend to stay around for a lot longer. So that's actually one of the metrics you want to be checking on your own channel is what are the amount of TV views am I getting? Because that's how you know that's your most engaged audience that's not going to be likely to leave. So what I want you to do is get one of your clients that you previously worked with, let's say as a relocation client, and from California moving to Dallas, Texas, or California moving to Las Vegas, and you sit them down for a podcast interview. And basically you go over all the typical questions people ask, such as, hey, what was your experience like moving here? Were there any prices or like monetary things that caught you off guard? Or what are the pros and cons of moving here? What were your biggest regret? What were your biggest fears and how did you overcome them? What's the hardest part about moving from California to Texas? Or what's the hardest part about selling? So after you ask all these questions and you cover it into a podcast and they tell their stories, who they are, why they moved, blah, blah, blah. At the very end of the video, then you ask them, how was it like working with me? And this is the perfect opportunity for them to go ahead and say, oh, it was amazing to work with you, realtor. I loved it. You went above and beyond for me. I was so annoying, but you kept serving me. You'd always answer my questions. You guided me every step of the way through. And it serves as a perfect soft sell testimonial after they spent 50 minutes going over objections of people who are thinking about moving. I know this works so well is because when I tested this video idea, all of my clients, Brian, who's the #1 channel in Southern Oregon, he told me, hey, Dylan, this week I got so many calls from my clients saying, oh my gosh, if I saw this video earlier, I totally would have made the move. And Brian immediately told me, hey, we got to get this done. We got to go ahead and double down on this video. And in fact, that's why I'm making this video over here. I've actually done this exact same video idea with another one of my clients who's the #1 channel in Lubbock, Texas. And he said the exact same thing back then, saying, oh my gosh, there's got a lot of people who were thinking about moving to Lubbock, Texas to actually go ahead and make the move because they're able to sit down with someone who has actually made the move, who looks very similar to them, has similar pain points, the same fears, the same anxieties, and they still made the move and came out totally fine on the other way through. So it's a perfect video to basically get people over the line who are afraid to make the move, like, I'm thinking about it, or like, I might move around here and there, to like, okay, cool. Not only am I actually committed to actually making the move, I also know I have an amazing realtor that this person just talked about that's going to guide me, help me go all the way through to the very end. So just to show you a little bit more evidence of why this works, well, let's take a look at Brian and Andrew's channels. And these are two channels that I've already tested this on. So if you look at Brian's channel over here, you can see that there's a little outlier circle. You can see a little bit of outlier data. And so typically he gets around 1K views or so. But this video in particular, not only is it a lot longer, it got twice as many views. You can see the outlier data saying it's 2.3x. Basically, it's saying that this video got way more views compared to the normal video. And that's like a good indication that like, okay, cool, we want to be doubling down on this because there's a lot more interest. And not just to only get a lot more views, when I spoke to Brian, he said, oh, this got me way more leads for this week. Thank you so much. Whatever we're doing, we want to go ahead and double down. And if you look at the same thing in Lubbock, Texas over here, when I did this a year ago, well, same results. You can see if you look at the video comparing to the past videos, like past 5 and past 10 videos or so, the podcast format also did super good. And again, it also was an outlier for Andrew himself. I just wanted to give you more evidence. This has been battle tested. I've used it myself and it's worked multiple times. And I'm actually personally going to double down on it myself with my own clients. Now you're wondering, okay, cool, this is a great video idea. Now, what's the step-by-step way to actually do it yourself? Well, the first step is you need to pick the right client. So whichever client that you've worked with in the past, you want them to be your ideal client. Basically saying, oh my gosh, I love working with couples who have a ton of money, who are moving from California and are cash buyers and ready to move within the next 60 days. So like that's how specific you want to get. Or let's say you want your avatar to be, okay, I absolutely love working with people who are moving from California to Southern Southern Oregon that are cash buyers looking to buy a house around the $600,000 to $800,000 range, and they're retired, they're an older couple. Basically, we want to get very hyper specific because whichever hyper specific client that we show as an ideal avatar, we're gonna get 10 more of those leads because the leads will see that video and be like, hey, that's me. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to Brian then, since he's helped someone very exactly similar to me. So if you want these more relocation clients, or if you want more luxury clients, or if you want more first-time home buyer clients, that's who you want to interview. So whoever you like working with the most, or whichever population you specialize in, that's a person you want to choose for your podcast interview. The second step on how to shoot this thing is to actually book a podcast studio. So yes, you can go ahead and do it at home, try to save some money, but it becomes a logistical nightmare. You don't know how to set up podcasts. Trust me, I've guided my agents on trying to do it before. It's too much of a mess. What I want you to do is either if you have a videographer that can help you out, that's one option, or you search online podcast studio near me and go ahead and rent out a space for around 2 hours. And yes, it does cost money, and I promise you, it is totally worth it. Brian himself has generated millions of dollars in leads just by using this single video himself. Going to a podcast studio will save you so much time, as they're gonna do the lighting for you, they're gonna do the audio for you. You don't have to worry about all that. All you've gotta do is just bring down the client. It looks professional, it looks nice. You're gonna have all like the triple camera setup or the double camera setup done for you. All the audio, the lighting, the mics, the production, where you can just focus just being present with the client. Especially if this is your first time shooting a podcast, you're not gonna have a good time if you try to do it yourself. So I highly recommend booking a studio or having a professional do it for you. The next step is you gotta prepare all the right questions. So you gotta prepare the questions such as, what do you wish you knew before moving here? Or what was the hardest part? How is life here different than expected? Or what are the pros and cons of living here? What's something that you wish someone told you before moving here? All questions like that, typical questions that people ask. You wanna go ahead and prepare for them. And ask them, hey, do you have any stories or cool things you wanna share? So this way, both you and your client can come prepared for the interview and both be super excited and make it like a banger interview. And then at the very end of the interview, again, you must do this. Say, what was it like working with me? And this is the perfect time for your favorite client to go ahead and give you a super hard sell and be like, you as a realtor were amazing to work with. I loved it. You took such good care of me. You were there every step of the way there, blah, blah, blah. All you do is sit there and just be like, wow, thanks. And at the very end, all you say is, hey viewers, if you want this to be you, well, give me a call. Guess what? If you call me, this actually will be me. It'll be me as a realtor. I will be actually helping you out. And I promise you, this converts like crazy. It's super personal. It warms up the prospect. It warms up the viewer. And this is actually how you turn viewers to real buyers, which is what we care about, turning the viewers to buyers, because nobody cares about views on YouTube. They care about buyers, clients, 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 clients. That's what we actually care about here. And now you have an amazing video recorded. The next step is the packaging, the title and thumbnail. And this is everything. It is imperative that you do not screw this up. But luckily, we already have a ton of proven concepts worked out already that I've already done with Brian and Andrew over here. So I want you to actually copy this exactly step by step. So I want you to put your client's face or your face over here and then use some crazy strong text over here to basically get them to move. Like similar to what I did for Brian was, I hate it here, and I actually did that same thing for Andrew over here. So you can use whatever intriguing text that you want. And the reason why I'm so hyper specific with this is because this is called proven framework or proven format. And if you look at these popular channels such as Diary of a CEO, he's actually done it himself. And it's been such a popular thumbnail format, you can see it replicated in multiple other niches on YouTube, such as this channel over here is a couch co-op. It's actually ran by one of my friends, and he uses the exact same framework, the white and red text with the black background with the subject. It's a completely different niche. It's like the gaming niche. And if you look at his views, it's hundreds of thousands of views. And if you look at this channel over here, a channel about fighting and defending yourself, and he uses this exact same format, it got 1.8 million views. So this exact packaging format has been tried and tested, and it freaking works. I want you to copy this exact same title and thumbnail and copy this exact same framework for your market, and I promise you this will work. So now you got a great title and thumbnail, you recorded the thing. There's a few more things you need to know when it comes to editing the thing and uploading it. So how I want you to do the intro is you need to tease the most exciting questions and cut right before they give the answer. And I'll go ahead right here and I'll play an example of what I mean on screen, of what I did in Lubbock, Texas.
Do you feel safe in Lubbock?
Well, they did for 2 years, but, move on to bigger and better things.
Would you rather raise your family in Dallas or Lubbock?
I think just it's an easier way of life. It's less hectic.
Okay, great. So that's one example I did in Lubbock, Texas. Now I want to show you a different example of what I did for Brian in Southern Oregon.
Moving to Southern Oregon seems like a great decision for a lot of people. The cost of living is low, the weather's great, the art scene and culture are top-notch, outdoor recreation's about endless, and the natural beauty is just about as good as you're going to find pretty much anywhere. So what could possibly make somebody completely regret their decision to move here?
Now, finally, we have one of the most important parts when uploading, which is actually the timestamps. I don't always recommend you doing timestamps in YouTube videos, but in these long-form podcasts, you absolutely must. So every single new question or topic, you need to go ahead and put a timestamp, and these timestamps need to have inherently interesting titles. This way, if the audience does get bored, they can go ahead and skip around. And if you look at all popular podcasts across YouTube, they actually do this exact same thing. So for Brian, we had like, what was your experience moving here? what's your story? I'm just gonna quickly showcase you and like drag my mouse across the screen and show like these are all the different chapter titles that we use. And these serve as mini titles. So in case the audience does get bored and instead of leaving the entire video, they'll go ahead and maybe just skip the segment and move on to the next segment to all the parts they find interesting. And I promise you, this will like double or triple your retention, because instead of them just leaving the video, they're just gonna skip a little bit of it and it's like, okay, cool, these are the parts that are relevant to me. And whenever we can serve the audience like that, we definitely want to. So this is a hidden gem strategy for real estate YouTube. And guess what? You can double and triple down on this over and over and over again. You can go ahead and interview relocation clients. You can go ahead and interview investor clients if you want more investor leads. If you want more seller leads, you can go ahead and potentially interview a seller. If you want more first-time home buyer clients, you can interview that. You can even interview your lender and saying, oh, what are the top 5 most common mistakes that home buyers make? So you can interview all types of people and turn it into this podcast format and make it still super entertaining, informative, and useful. And whoever you interview, you're going to attract as a client. So you can get hyper targeted with exactly the client avatar that you love working with to build a business of your dreams. And just to get your brain going, for like the relocation audience, you can title it such as, what's it really like moving to Las Vegas for work? Or the biggest mistakes people make when moving to Las Vegas. The shocking truth about moving to Las Vegas as a working professional. Or let's just say you're interviewing a lender, such as how to buy a home in Las Vegas with just 5% down. Or the biggest real estate trends in Las Vegas in 2025, like interview with a real estate market analyst. Or first-time home buyers need to know when buying a home in Las Vegas with an inspector or lender or first-time home buyer. You can take this angle and just basically double and triple down on it and create an entire channel just with this one YouTube strategy, repeating it over and over and over again. And the beauty about the strategy is no one is doing it. No one's doing it in the real estate world. So what's happening in the real estate world is everyone's doing the living in strategy, the pros and cons, the top 8 neighborhoods, or like the house tour strategy. And that's becoming so saturated. Now, whenever the viewers see all these different channels, there's like 30 different agents that can call that are all doing the exact same thing. And when all these agents do the exact same thing, well, you don't stand out. And that is what is going to win over the lead and work with you over all the other 30 agents within your city. I'm going to put the exact script down below that I gave to Brian that covers the video brief, video inspiration, and also all the different talking points that he went over. So I actually meet with Brian every single week where we talk about YouTube strategy, what's next on his channel, the analytics, the ups and downs, what should we be doing next. And I also handle the editing, the titling, the thumbnail, and I basically do everything. And if you have any questions on how to actually shoot this, or if you have any questions about YouTube in general, well, I'm your go-to strategist. So I'm going to leave my number in the pinned comment and the description. And guess what? It actually will be me. Go ahead, send me your channel, and we can set up a free YouTube strategy call. I'll look at your channel and I'll give you some feedback totally for free on what you should do on your next steps. I personally believe in giving so much value until people beg to work with me. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So no tricks or anything. Just text me down below. Let's set up a call. And I'd love to give you some free pointers on how to grow your YouTube channel. So anyways, if that's interest you, then go ahead and give me a text. If not, all good. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.